You can work your whole life, save every penny, and still end up broke. You know why? Because there are silent killers of your wealth. Everyday habits and decisions that drain your money without you even noticing. And the worst part? Most people only realize it when it's already too late. If you want to protect what you've built and secure a prosperous future, pay close attention, like, comment, and share this video to help spread the word. 1. Divorce, a wealth destroyer. Divorce. It's a word that brings not just emotional pain, but a massive financial impact. And it's not exactly rare. In the U.S., around 40% to 50% of marriages end in divorce. The rate is even higher for second and third marriages. In other words, the more you try to start over, the greater your financial risk. The cost of divorce goes far beyond attorney fees. The average case can cost around $20,000, and it can easily go higher. In many cases, people lose up to 50% of their assets, property, savings, investments, and even business ownership. Take real estate, for example. When a couple splits, the home often needs to be sold or refinanced. That means fees, taxes, moving expenses, and sometimes a significant loss in accumulated equity. It's like watching years of hard work vanish in just a few months. And it doesn't stop there. Retirement funds also get divided. That can mean penalties, extra legal costs, and a big hit to your long-term financial security. It's as if your future has to be rebuilt from scratch. Now imagine if you own a business. Just valuing a company for divorce purposes can cost between $5,000 and $15,000. And even if the business is legally yours, part of it could still go to your ex. You might be forced to sell a big chunk of something you built with your own hands. Beyond the direct costs, there are hidden ones too. Moving, splitting belongings, therapy sessions, and lost productivity at work. The emotional toll can affect your ability to earn money and make smart financial decisions. What's truly shocking is that only about 15% of couples get a prenuptial agreement, something that could prevent a lot of this financial pain. Many think it kills the romance, but in reality, it can protect both sides when things get tough. Solution: a prenuptial agreement isn't just protection, it's clarity. It avoids conflict, protects your assets, shields you from a partner's debts, and ensures a fair split if things go south. Financial security is also an act of love. 2. Underestimated car expenses. A lot of people dream of owning a brand new car. It's a symbol of success, freedom, achievement. But what most don't realize is the financial hole it can quietly create. In 2023, the average annual cost of owning a car in the U.S. was $12,182. That includes more than just loan payments. There's also maintenance, insurance, gas, taxes, and, worst of all, depreciation. Just the monthly payment for a new car at the end of 2023 was around $738. That's almost $9,000 a year just to keep the car running. And there's more. The moment you drive off the lot, the car loses 10% to 15% of its value. If you paid $40,000, that's up to $6,000 gone in minutes. It's like tearing up an entire paycheck just to smell the new. Not to mention, people often buy the car they can finance, not the one they can actually afford. It's driven by social and emotional pressure. We want to impress neighbors, friends, family. So we make decisions based on image, not reality. Luxury cars? They're even worse. Parts, insurance, maintenance, everything costs more. And the return? Zero. A car doesn't go up in value. It doesn't make money. It only costs money. It's a liability disguised as an emotional asset. Solution: go for cars that are 3 to 5 years old with under 30,000 miles. They've already gone through the biggest drop in value, but still offer quality and reliability. Use your money to buy freedom, not appearances. 3. Not investing. One of the biggest mistakes that holds people back from building wealth is not investing. And that usually comes from fear. Fear of losing money. Fear of not understanding the market. Fear of the unknown. But fear paralyzes. And lost time never comes back. The truth is, investing isn't about guessing the perfect moment. It's about staying in the game, Fidelity data shows that $10,000 invested in the S&P 500 from 1980 to 2022 would have grown into $1.08 million as long as the money stayed there. Now, if you had missed just the 5 best days in the market during that period, your return would have dropped by 38%. Missed the 50 best days? Your gains would have plunged by a staggering 93%. The market rewards patience. Letting your money sit in cash is another common mistake. With inflation eating away at purchasing power, stashing cash under the mattress is basically a modern way to get poorer in silence. It feels safe, but it's actually very risky. Solution: automate your investments. Use trusted platforms to invest in index funds or ETFs. Even with small amounts, take advantage of high-yield accounts, 4 to 5%, and stay consistent. The real power isn't in timing. It's in building a habit. Investing isn't gambling. It's a freedom strategy. The earlier you start, the more compound interest works in your favor. 4. Underestimating inflation. Inflation, the invisible thief that robs your wallet every single day without you even noticing. As it rises, everything gets more expensive, but your income rarely keeps up. And that's when your quality of life starts to quietly erode. In 2022, inflation in the U.S. hit a staggering 9%, the highest level in 40 years. Today, it's more stable, around 3% to 3.5%, but the effects linger. After all, when prices go up, they rarely come back down. Simple examples show this clearly. A burrito at Chipotle that used to cost $10 now goes for $15. That's a 50% increase. Groceries? What used to be $100 a week is now $150. It all adds pressure to your budget and chips away at your purchasing power. And it gets worse. Over 100 million families in the U.S. can no longer afford a median-price home. Housing inflation is turning the dream of homeownership into a mirage for many. Solution: review your budget regularly. Reevaluate expenses and cut what doesn't add real value. Negotiate salary increases based on cost of living. And most importantly, invest in assets that keep up with or beat inflation, like stocks, real estate, or gold. Ignoring inflation is like paddling against the current. You may be working hard, but you're not moving forward. Or worse, you're drifting backward. Don't let inflation quietly destroy your dreams. 5. High-interest debt. There's good debt and bad debt. Good debt is strategic, like a mortgage, education, or a business loan. Bad debt is emotional, impulsive, and loaded with interest. And the king of bad debt? Credit cards with APRs over 22% a year. A $10,000 balance can rack up around $187 a month just in interest. Now imagine that dragging on for years. The interest alone can end up costing more than the original debt. It's like paying for an expensive dinner for a decade after you've already digested it. This kind of debt drains your financial freedom. You become a slave to bills. Money that could go into investments, travel, education, or building a business gets eaten up by interest. It's a modern-day trap with invisible chains. In more serious cases, people end up selling assets, homes, or even dipping into retirement savings just to cover short-term debt. That's like cutting off your arm to treat a paper cut. Solution: follow the 35 to 40% rule. Your total debt should never exceed that percentage of your gross monthly income. Housing expenses should stay under 30%. And always prioritize paying off the highest interest debts first. If needed, renegotiate. Transfer balances to lower interest options. Set up a repayment plan and avoid taking on new debt. Financial freedom begins the moment you stop working for banks and start working for yourself. Your wealth doesn't just depend on how much you earn. It depends on how well you protect, manage, and grow what you have. Poorly handled divorces, expensive cars, fear of investing, ignored inflation, and high-interest debt are 5 of the biggest silent killers of wealth. Now that you know what they are, you can protect yourself and make smarter financial decisions. If this content helped you, like, comment, and share. Let's spread the knowledge and help more people secure their finances and build a future of freedom and prosperity.